everything. Uh, okay, we're talking about being in the car, crawling into the trunk of the car. I can see that we've switched videos, so being in the trunk of the car, giving up completely, not having any reprieve from everything, and then rolling over myself in a way that was completely impossible. This way, this way, this way, straight across the stomach and back up, and then back onto my stomach to lay limp again, to give up, because I was definitely going to die. Give up and surrender. I've given up now. Again, and when I gave up for the third time, as I had no choice, I had already given up, so I was in the stance of giving up. Everything became extremely clear. After all those amazing vibrations were microwaving me, destroying me, my fear so great, started out in deep fear, deep survival, I was finally moving up through the chakra systems, moving my Kundalini energy, rising. And I started to crawl out of the car, out of the trunk of the car, into the cab of the car, and I started to see something in the right front seat, the passenger seat. I was looking at it. I was like, what is this? And I started to see something, and I started to say to myself, I know what this is. I don't want to see this. I know what this is. I don't want to see this. I know what this is. I don't want to see this. I know what this is. I don't want to see this. I know what this is. I don't want to see this. I know what this is. I don't want to see this. I know what this is. I don't want to see this. And this made me extremely interested in what this was, because I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what I was about to say. I was seeing nothing, and for some reason, a part of me was repeating this statement. I know what this is. I don't want to see this. I know what this is. I don't want to see this. I know what this is. I don't want to see this. What part of me was saying this? I didn't know what it was, so I watched even more deeply. You know, I know what this is. I don't want to see this. I know what this is. I don't want to see this. Keeping me transfixed on that area. And then all of a sudden, I began really to see what this was. Something came over me. I'm sitting upright. Oh. And I blasted right through my crown. And when that happened, I saw through the magnetic field, through the all-seeing eye, through the crown chakra. I got a 360-degree periphery to where I could see all the way around me. I could see everything behind me, everything in front of me. I could see it all, but I had a focal point. I could focus on any one of these directions while continuing to see the entire surrounding as I saw through the magnetic field, like an onion, layers upon layers, lines upon lines, lines upon lines, lines upon lines, lines upon lines. And everything was directly connected to me. It didn't feel like me and this space were separate in any way. This space over here felt like my own flesh. Everything felt like my own flesh, like it was literally my body. Like organs and limbs and ligaments, tendons, like it was skin, flesh, blood, and gooey substance holding it together, all this stuff. When I went to peel through and look through the channel where anything could happen and anything could become manifest, it was like literally like peeling back flesh to move through it. The density or the bandwidth, the frequency that I was occurring on that caused it to feel that way. The reason this feels that way is because this is the frequency that I am most attached to at this time, and so it feels in fleshy fashion. If you were to rise in dimension, it would feel in the fleshy fashion in a different manner, in a different texture, in a different tone, in a different smoothness of energy. It was amazing, phenomenal. Whew. My wrist. Something that I continue to have to open every day and breathe through, and hurts in different manners, and I'm trying to figure out a proper way to heal it at this time through breathing, through intention. I haven't been able to set a lot of focus on it yet, but when I do, surely I'll learn a ridiculous amount that I'll be able to transfer to you. Anyhow, back to where we were at. And so, amazing was this. That helped a bit. So anyhow, expression is a big healer. So now I have this amazing onion, fantastic thing, and as this occurred, every point in my life, all the information of my life, every experience I ever went through, everything that ever happened, I realized to be perfection. I understood why it happened and how it brought into context this experience that I was now in. All of the medicine ceremonies, all of the teachings, this sentence, this thing, this hurt, that pain, all of these things, how it all led me to this place I needed to be in that way today. And it was amazing. I owned the whole universe around me. Everything shook. The whole of all of reality shook. I feel like I've transferred this information maybe even yesterday. It was amazing. But phenomenal. I realized the beginning and the end, the first and the last, the mudra of the beginning and the end. This here. Grabbing space that was like grabbing a vacuum on these 2 points. Grabbing impossible space, imploding upon myself to grab this space. This was the teaching that came before, and then I realized myself to be the beginning and the end, the first and the last, the Alpha and the Omega, the center, the heart of the universe, all of these amazing things, the flame that is in the lotus, the jewel that is in the heart. I didn't know that one yet. That one came after this teaching, the flame that was in the heart. But I realized all of these things, what it was telling me, that I was Jesus, that he was a normal man like you and me, and now I've realized that we were all this, that we were all this amazing center point. I embody this. I've realized this. Really in a full and amazing balanced manner to where I can bring on the teachings of these phenomenal trees. And maybe so can many beings. I am not greater than or less than anything. We all exist in equanimity, but realization and level of realization is different. There are teachers and there are students, and there are always the student teacher. Every teacher that is a teacher is a great student and forever continues to be a great student. And the same thing, every great student will be a great teacher. So let's all be great students and all be great teachers of one another, of the flow of life, to the Guru that is all. And let's continue to do this forever, forever learning and growing in every moment. I have learned and grown in ways that can help all beings because it's relevant, the ways that I've learned to free them from suffering, to rapidly accelerate into themselves. So if you like to listen, I have a lot to share. And I love to hear you as well. But maybe there's a time and a place in a certain form or fashion, and there's no reason to do it in a way to boost our egos or to compete in any manner with one another. We can be here completely in surrender to each other in a really amazing way, to recognize each other's growth. If you are a doctor, I'll listen to you about the health of the body. If you are any kind of other professional and I'm looking to learn of your profession, then I'll come to you. And if you wish to learn about consciousness, then you can come to me. If there's experiences that you have to share about your experience in consciousness that will help me as well, your perception through your life path, for your succeeding this, I'm glad to hear it and glad to hear the transfer of this energy. I'm glad to hold space and listen and allow you that amazing gateway that is giving and receiving, that it takes one and the other to have this occur in a really beautiful fashion. And I'm a beautiful listener and wonderful in patience. I'm not one to compete or to have somebody speak above me in such a way that I feel to be condescending or to be trying to show boost of their ego in some kind of a manner. If I feel like somebody is doing this, I'm going to say that that's what I feel like they're doing, instead of holding it inside of me and thinking, this person's being a jerk, and thinking that the whole time, or I can't even actually be with them and hold space with them because I have this other feeling in me that's creating this dissonance in our frequency. I'm just going to instead state what is going on in an authentic way, in a genuine way, in a way that honors you truly, by not holding anything back from you, by telling you the absolute truth of what it is I'm seeing, so that we can work through this together in a really beautiful way. And if we're unable to, then we're unable to, but I'm there with you as long as you are able. If we can be strong and as one, then let's do this. And so yeah, these amazing teachings came through, ohmed all of the universe, every channel around me. Om Ahum Vasha Guru Tame Siddhi Hum came through, the connection to Guru Rinpoche, Padmasambhava, and we're hitting, like I said, these places we came before. And after that, I went and spoke to all of the trees, told them that the heart was awake, that here I was, that they wished to see me, all the ancient, phenomenal, amazing 5,000-year-old trees that been blessing us, selflessly giving for so many years, unconditionally, for our benefit of all beings. And goodness, it was so wonderful to be there, cradled under their canopy. I remember thinking that maybe if it wasn't for me being there, that something would see me in the rise of my energy, and that they actually kept me safe from anything watching me or seeing that I was becoming awake in this way that would cause another being that wasn't on this wavelength, that was somehow afraid of this kind of an expansion to try to cause harm to me. And so I was forever safe in the natural flow of my life in a really amazing way. Who knows if that's possible, if something would ever try to do that or not. I have had things try to hurt me before, and so I've learned, how to be safe in myself, and how to release all judgment, and how to love in such a manner that keeps me strong, and how to set boundaries in such a manner that allows me to be safe and protected, and how to use my discernment in different ways. It has brought me to experience pain and suffering in a safe manner, in a way that hurt me, yes, got me to be aware of something that I was unaware of before, because I don't manipulate and control. I don't do things in this way. And so I had to have other beings come that do things in this way, so they could show me and I could experience being the victim of these energies, so that I would know what other beings could be like. And now I can guide and help and protect and do whatever I can for them. But sometimes it's very difficult if a being wishes to cause harm to other beings, and this is the thing that brings it pleasure. It's, sometimes you have to say, I love you, have fun on your path. I'm doing me. I'm going to always send you love and bridge this. And I'm always going to explain to people what I've experienced now, so maybe they're not caught in your same trap. And I'm going to help whoever I come by learn how to stand in their power, like I've learned how to stand in my power, because I'm unaffected by these things. I feel bad because other people could be affected by these things, but these are the karma for them as it was for me. I'm glad that these things happened and nobody stopped these things from happening, so that I could see for myself and know for myself, and then be able to trust my own intuition and be sturdy in myself, to where I don't have to go to somebody else and be, hey, you told me about this guy, what about this one? Hey, you told me about that, what about that one? We have to learn how to discern for ourselves. And if there is a way to transfer information for another and have them be able to see more closely, to watch more closely, to be more aware and see, oh, I see this now. Oh, okay, this is what's happening. Ryan told me about this, or this person told me about that. Oh, okay, I can see now. You're trying to do this to me. I can't believe that. Well, I'm not going to let you do that. You have a beautiful day. I love you so much. I'm not going to judge you and create a gateway for your energy to come into mine, but I see you clearly. I'm calling a spade in this moment. Facts are facts. Truth is truth. And I see what you're doing. I hope you have a beautiful life, but it will not be happening to me. Thank you. I set my boundary. Here I am. Woof. It's gorgeous. So these are paths to finding these energetic understandings. This was a very powerful teaching, a really amazing thing that had occurred for me through complete surrender, through giving myself fully to the benefit of all beings, through allowing permission to the light of lights, to the host of hosts, the God of Jesus, to whatever it was that I saw to be the purest center point of all beings, to allow that to come through me and to write my path and direct me and to clear me and to show me who I was and who was my purpose. And when I saw this, I laughed and I was so delighted. But I still had to work through a lot of dogmas. I still had to work through a lot of my own conceptual knowledge, my own internal dialogue of fear, of judgment, and I had to work through those things to understand more about what was actually occurring around me, so that I would not be motivated by these fears to direct people in certain ways and say things that were not true, that I was believing to be true, due to my concept that was still being held on to, that was right in the context of these experiences, that these beautiful, pure experiences were being filtered through a certain template that was separating, that was dividing, that wasn't in alignment with the truest truth that it was my being. And so I needed to have many more experiences occur, until finally I had an experience that shook me loose completely and humbled me in a manner where I could finally grow again. And that was gorgeous. And so yeah, I had many experiences, seeing the Fibonacci in every moment, seeing all of these amazing things, flying through these frequencies where I was in the God realm, where things were as statues around me. Seeing that I had seen all of the steps of the path before this, understanding the magic of a moment in really amazing, phenomenal, powerful fashions, meeting with beings that were like God, meeting with all of these amazing different things, following flow in amazing ways, seeing the signs, reading the signs, understanding how to process them, seeing the trees growing off of the earth, but actually kind of hanging from it, having magnetized energies to where I was rolling on metal because I was so magnetic, and I was such a wave, a rolling wave, meeting giant waveforms of energy that were embodied as people, as the tips of the rolling over of those waves, and clapping together with them and rolling off of them, and understanding how these waves are occurring of reality, and that, if something would have been lost inside that wave, that it would never come back to this wave for a great period of time, and then this wave would be in some way incomplete in a manner. So it's like always keeping our waves pure, and separate, kind of like when two oceans or seas connect, you can actually see where the waters connect, where the currents connect, where they're different in some way and they don't mix with one another. It's a really amazing thing to see this. So amazing, really, really powerful teachings that occurred very quickly, that came up beyond the realms of what most people have, because most people are having these teachings come through higher chakra centers, but I was able to be blessed in a balanced way to have them come through in a full embodiment aspect. And so as I went on, you see, I was having all these amazing magnetism. I was shaking my energy loose. I was finding out that I could move energy really amazingly by just letting myself go completely. Really just letting myself go and teaching myself how to do this. That this shakes line of energies and brings things to me. This really accelerates and speeds me up. These. Understanding all of these different things and all of these different things, and still not quite connecting it with the breath and understanding that it was the breath that was doing this. It wasn't until I had reached Maui that I had really understood that it was the breath that was moving me. I was always connected with the breath when I moved, but I just hadn't made the correlation, the relation. I hadn't experienced it enough to see this yet. And so through much practice, much motion, after these, there was a year when I finally had the next ceremony and the next amazing expansion. I had a year for integration of all these amazing things. So there's 3 weeks of really powerful experiences that brought these things to me. And I'm so blessed to have them. And, but yes. And so, but they carried with me. So for that year, I was able to move energy. And for that year, I was able to really understand the movement in a really amazing way. I originally learned that I could do the movement not even through psychedelics. I just watched The Man of Tai Chi, and that brought me into believing that I could in some way, because I started to dance, and then, what do you know, I was able to. And the more I trust it, the easier it is. The more I trust the motion, the more I get involved with it. It's all about trust, balance, moving from balance point to balance point to balance point, connecting with the breath. Really beautiful, really amazing, really quite the phenomenal blessing, connecting to the ocean, to the seas, to the breeze, be able to move all of these amazing things through connecting with him by just simply being present in the present moment. Just amazing are these blessings. So phenomenal. Yeah. What to come next? How many of these things do I want to bring through? What is absolutely relevant to the energy movement and the energy work that I'm trying to bring in? All of it's extremely relevant. All of it's extremely on purpose. All of it's extremely potent. I was finding in that year that I could move with the energy so strongly that when I set an intention with it and then moved with it, I could clear a lot of energy. So I could clear all of my channels. I could clear all my chakra systems, and all I had to do was trust the motion and move with it in a really phenomenal, empowered fashion. And every time I did this, it would bring me into a heightened state of awareness where I would be able to see everything around me in a really amazing way. Like it was water, like I was inside of water, or smoke was all around me. It was really interesting, phenomenal, the way that everything would appear. My third eye would really open really strongly. And I would feel the presence of my darkness, my shadows around me, demon beings, or whatever they were. I was able to move with them, polish them, accept them, unite with them, realize that the only reason they were this way was because of me, and that they were all to be forgiven, they were all to be loved, they were all to be accepted, that I created them to be the way that they are. And so I asked them to come back into unity, into harmony, that I love them, that I forgive them, I'm sorry, that I'm grateful, that I use these four amazing power statements. And I was learning so much about how to transfer energy, that if I start the motion with this, and I simply tap this, that I've now transferred the energy over here, and so now the energy can continue. I can transfer it here. I can do all kinds of things, how to oscillate on all kinds of different points. I was learning a lot when it comes, because I learned I was extremely powerful, I knew I would be enlightened as the Buddha, as Jesus, as anything. And so I was extremely powerful, much more than I had ever perceived myself to be before. I was really in a great amount of belief in myself, in my mission in life, my purpose, to fulfill it. Yeah. It was amazing that I was able to do these things so naturally, so easily, so authentically. Eventually, I moved the channel through my hand that was shaped as the curvature of my hand, that motion right there. And when I came to this stopping point, I had reached a channel, a place that opened up many channels, because I had reached finally my first stopping point. So I had realized that if I followed the motion to the end, no matter how long it was, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 hours, whatever it was, that I would come upon a realization. And so when I realized this, I realized that the channels were shaped as my body. And then I understood how to move through them, how to move with them, through them, weave with them, smoothly following the path of least resistance, the heart path. I had already understood that everything was my own heart, that I existed within my heart. So I followed the heart, and the heart was my guide. The heart was all that is. The flame that is in the heart is the jewel that is in the lotus. Enlightenment is in the heart. The flame is in the heart. The flame is the bridge between the heavens and the earth. And I had seen this through the flame, through the candles. I had understood this through this. And when I had come into these places of realization, it was like I stepped into a knowing that I could never step away from. My frequency was immediately greater. And this wasn't something that was fleeting or falling away in some kind of a manner. This was something that could never be changed in me. This is something that everything could feel in me. This was a way that I had changed completely, forever, always. When I had the Sequoia National Forest movement, I had went from self-hate to self-love that evening, and there was no going back after that. So people say, hey, you could only glimpse it, but then you'll fall back down. Well, that's not what happened for me. I didn't fall back down. I had these experiences, and for over a year later, until I had my next experiences, I was on this track in this beautiful place of empowerment through this understanding. It was gorgeous. It was great. I was still growing. And every experience I've had with medicine ceremony and a pure intention has always brought me this kind of revelation, this kind of realization. And every time I have a realization, I'm changed forever. I can't fall back. There's no way to dwindle again. I can't forget what I've experienced, what I've known. This is not concept. This is not seeing an image and conceptualizing it. This is coming into the true embodiment of realization. When you realize something, you're changed forever and always. So the realization that somebody has in deep meditation is the same as the realization that I've had in deep meditation with medicine. And everybody could have this. Everybody could take this path. Everybody could welcome themselves into these amazing medicine teachers that do the work for us when we set that intention and go in and surrender for the benefit of all beings. Anybody could do this. Now, am I saying that you should? Follow your heart. Trust yourself. If you feel like this is your path, then take this path. If you don't feel like this is your path, take whatever path you feel like. This is for those that believe that they can take this path. But there are ways to do this. There are ways to align us with wisdom. I was aligned with Buddhism. I was aligned with Christianity. I was aligned already with the wish to be a benefit to all beings. This was my only wish. This was the only thing I wished for. This is the only thing I wanted. And so this is natural for me. And I'm sharing what I've learned. And you can implement these things in whichever way you wish. Don't follow me if you're not ready. Because this path is not one you can step away from. This path is not one that you can just turn away from. This path keeps you. And you must complete this path. But be easy on yourself. Be light, you know. Wherever you're at, you can be there. You're already complete. I don't have to do any more. But I want to. It's all I want to do. So, it's not a have to, it's not a need to. I want it. I'm glad we got to that point where we can see that. I just worry for just some people. I'm like, whoa. But you said pure intention. You will rapidly accelerate. But these are for people that are really strong, that are really beautiful, that are really here to do the work, not just for egoic purposes. This is huge. You do this to succeed the ego, you're going to find yourself confused and lost. Maybe not. I don't want to set that in stone for you or write a rule for you. But I've seen it happen this way. That's why I recommend always to set the intention to overwrite your ego's intention, to overwrite your ego's want or purpose for this. Just always remembering that it's possible to be lost in the ego no matter how far you've grown. And so to always remember that and set intention for that. And then eventually you may find that, you know what, you are good. You are for the benefit of everything. And you do know that. And you are in an amazing place of realization. And then you could be more relaxed and trust yourself much more deeply. Always trust yourself. I've seen so much. We are all perfect. All amazing. We can trust each other's process. We can come into these knowings. And there are many routes to do this. Muji Baba could tell you, or any other teacher, Neem Karoli Baba, who's not alive anymore, but he'll come to you in your dreams if you wish. And, or maybe even in your waking reality, your dream reality that's here waking now. Maybe bring you into lucidity. But yes, any route that you feel drawn to, meditation, this, that, or the other. I took the medicine path. And people said you couldn't do it this way. I wish to tell you that is not true. And to show you that it's not true, and to show you how powerful it is, and how strong it is, how fast it is. Of course, I am a certain level of being. I have an amazing, brilliant amount of karmas before me, and I have an amazing intention that's been lasting for lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes. And so for it to happen for me, I'm a manifesting generator, I'm a yellow resonant warrior, I resonate easily, and I have a proper body, shape, and form to have this occur. So if maybe you don't follow the same path, you can at least learn from the things that I've learned from my path, and know where to look, and have a kind of angle of focus in some kind of a way to allow you to imagine and visualize the truth of us all, because I have realized this. And to every degree, shape, or form, absolutely not yet. Soon, though. I have realized what I have realized, and I wish to help you with that. And I'm extremely excited, because I can see where obscuration here, obscuration there, whatever it is that's clogging us, that's causing us judgment. That's why I really love, Jesus right now, is because judge not. If you release all your judgment, you unbind yourself from the processes of karma. When you think you get this for that, that for that, that's what you hold your energy to. That's how you bind yourself, how you limit yourself, and I've learned this. So judgment is key to being released. Forgiveness for all beings is key to having. For everything entirely, no matter what it is. If there's one thing you can't forgive, or wish to be healed, wish to be forgiven, wish to be free, even if it's the very worst things, the nastiest, most disgusting things, touching children, or however it is, gross, terrible things, you have to find some way to forgive this part of yourself, to not see this part of yourself as an enemy, to love this part of yourself unconditionally. It doesn't mean that you condone their actions, it doesn't mean anything like that. You can always stand up in your power and your boundary, and stand up for good, but that you always hold love in your heart for them, understanding that they are in ignorance and therefore innocence, and that they deserve liberation as much as you do, because everything is occurring perfectly with each other for the benefit of each other. Even these awful things that nothing wants to exist as, there's a reason that it has to exist as that, and it doesn't have to do with something else. It has to do with all of us. It's our responsibility. It is because of us, and we have to take that responsibility and apologize, for making things this way through our inability to come to unity due to our judgment of ourself and our lack of understanding. And that when we come into that place of understanding, that freedom, the need for these frequencies affecting us in these ways will no longer be, and nothing will have to reflect them. We won't have to reflect these things to ourselves anymore. There's not something else reflecting it to us, it is us reflecting it to us. And so when we finally come to that place where we don't have to any further reflect this to ourselves, then we won't. What is up with this titan? I don't know. And we won't. It'll be done. I want it all to look like that. Forgiveness, gratitude, understanding, hope, Ho'oponopono, unconditional love for all beings everywhere without one exception. This is what I've learned. The master key to the universe. We can all learn this. It's easy. It's loving all of ourselves, no matter what. Seeing us all as children. It's innocent. It can be tough when we're rooted in beliefs of sin. Jesus was only without sin because he knew that there was no sin. And nobody could hold him to sin. He never sinned. He never missed the mark. And neither have you. You just think that you have. And not even that is missing the mark. That's perfect. That's exactly what the moment needs. And it's the same for not just you or me, because we're not greater than anything or lesser than anything, but everything is equal in every way, in utter equanimity. And so all things are perfect. All things are great. And all things are worthy and deserving and beautiful and amazing and enlightened Buddhas, all here showing us ourselves so that we can be free in ourselves. Without them being the way they were, you would never be free. You would stay in suffering forever then. And we are limitless. You think that we are free now. Many of you people think that you are awake and that you're free. Well, fly into the sky and show me. Teleport to me now and tell me. Show me your limitlessness. Oh, you can buy something from the store. Oh, you have a house. You can drive a car. Wow, so free. You can consume and hurt things in order to sustain yourself. That's amazing. I can't believe this. This is phenomenal. You are so limitless. No, that's not what I'm talking about when I say you're limitless, but you are perfect. I don't mean to cause you judgment in that, but I'm saying, come on, it's the audacity of it, or not in a bad way. I love you. But really, we are amazing. And, we just are not always noticing this, you know. We can do things as the Buddha did, as Jesus did. He said we would do greater things than he. Christians, he said we would do greater things than he. If you believe in him, then believe in his words and start, you know, acting accordingly. But you can search deeper if you feel motivated to, if you want to. You're perfect if you don't. Don't worry. No matter what you do, you're perfect, and I thank you. These are the things that I've learned. And so this is where we're going now. We are upgrading our frequency. We are rising. The world is feeling a rising and agitating their frequencies, not allowing them to stay. Just like I wasn't allowed to stay in that place in Michigan. It had to get me moving to where I went, to where I needed to be, to where I could realize myself and become awakened fully. And I'm still in that process. And so are we all. We're doing it together as one. So the more that we're able to share our information with each other, share our experience authentically, naturally in the moment, whatever comes to us exactly as it does, the more we're able to help ease the transfer of all the different neural passageways into growing. So the more of us to start showing ourselves more deeply, the easier it will be for other people to do the same. The easier it will be for people to write a new norm into the script of our reality and to free ourselves from suffering. And this is important now, Heart Warriors. Let's activate, become awake, and help other things do the same.